Morning everybody. So we've just woken up and this is our hotel on Barrow. The name I'm not even going to, well it's actually B&B, the name I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce, but I will pop it up on the screen somewhere. We got back last night and we were absolutely sodden, the wettest that we've been since we've been riding bikes. We managed to get all of our stuff lined up on a combination of heater and metal bars, and that's got to be nice and dry, so at least we're starting off from a dry point this morning. So Barrow's only a little island in comparison to where we've been, and it's got a ring road that goes all around off the outside, so that makes it nice and easy to go and have a look. And we've also just noticed that there is a looks like a causeway out to an island, it's called Vatasay, something like that. So we're going to want to explore that as well. So it's actually 2 islands for 1 a day, so that'll be kind of cool. I'll show you on the map. I don't know if you can see that the scale of Barrow is so small. It's actually quite difficult to see, but you can hopefully just see that there is one sort of red road that goes right around the outside. So that's the main road. Where that Barrow that place just there is where we're staying. And then the capital or the main part is Castle Bay, and that's where the ferry goes from early tomorrow morning. So we can do a loop of the island, and there's a couple of little spit roads that go off as well. It's also, look there, a airfield that they make on a beach for planes to land, so that's going to be cool. So we're going to have a little look and see that as well. And then there's a little castle that's just in the harbour there that's closed at the minute, which is a shame, but we are going to go and take a look at that as well. So that should be fun. And then that's the other island there, Vatasay. So we're going to come across on a little causeway and have a look at that as well. So that should be good. But before we do any of that, we're going to go downstairs and grab some breakfast. And it's full English, or full Scotch it's called. So that's going to be amazing, because by the time we got back to the bed and breakfast last night, we hadn't had any real tea. We had a sandwich and a salad whilst we were waiting for the ferry. And it was so wet and so windy, and the weather was so awful that neither one of us wanted to jump back on the bike and go and brave it and get something to eat. So we polished up whatever we had. I think we had a couple of bags of popcorn and some biscuits. That was our sort of like proper tea yesterday. So the other thing that's going to be interesting to see when we go downstairs is whether the bike's still standing, because the wind really was blowy last night. I'll take you and have a little look at the view that we've got outside of our B&B. There you go. Little view there of Barrow from the B&B. Pretty looking place, I have to say. Just going to be going exploring. Join us on the bike later. Okay, so just polished off breakfast. We're about to head out for our first little explore of Barrow, so it should be fun. The weather's quite nice now. It's nice and fresh, there's not too much wind, certainly no rain, so that's good. Because we're having a second night at the digs from last night, it meant that we can head off with a much lighter bike this morning. So there's very little in the panniers. The top box is fairly empty. I can't feel the difference already, I have to say. The bike feels a lot lighter. So I think the plan to start with is I'm going to head down into Castle Bay, which is sort of like the main town slash port on the island. Maybe have a little look and see what that looks like. And then from there, there's another little island down to the south, which is Vatasay. And I think while the weather's nice and the wind's calm, I think we might go and have a little drive down there and go and have a little look-see. And then from there, it's just going to be an explore and see what the island's got to offer. met a nice little farmer couple who invited us up to have a look at their farm in Docker. Should be nice. There they are down there. Not 100% sure what to expect from Barrow. Certainly looks pretty. It's quite rugged looking. The one thing is that the island not being very big, it's not very far from anywhere to anywhere. So it should make for a nice relaxing drive or ride. And it certainly looks like this is Castle Bay. And there's the castle. See if we can find a little spot to go and have a look at that, because it's a lovely calm morning. I'm sensing there might be the opportunity for a bit of a drone flight around the castle, which would be awesome. That would be really nice. Actually be the furthest I'll have taken the drone out over the sea. What can possibly go wrong, eh? See if we can find a little place to stop somewhere. Hopefully there'll be a little road down to it. Oh, there's a lifeboat down there as well. Do like a lifeboat. Right. This road looks like it heads down towards the castle. Oh, petrol station as well. It's handy. Not too bad for juice at the minute, but it's good to know we've got it if we need it. Ooh, and a bank as well. Wow, well this is a nice place to be. Just stopped because we saw this little cove, and there was a cow on the beach a couple of minutes ago, which is something I really have never seen in my life. And if you didn't know this was Scotland and you looked over my shoulder, this could be some sort of Caribbean island, or certainly something in the Med. Really, really pretty though. Look at that, a few houses, otherwise it's just an open cove. Super pretty place. The sort of place that you need to have a nice cup of tea, a cup of coffee in our case. On the road after a little coffee stop that turned into a toasted sandwich stop as well, which is very nice. And we're still on Thursday, and we're going to just follow it along to the end because there's not doesn't seem there's that many driving roads on it. So we thought we've come this far, we might as well go and finish and see the last little bit of it. And then we've got all of Barrett to explore. We're thinking that there's the last plane of the day we think's due in at 3:55. So if we can get ourselves up towards the airport for that time, that might be cool to watch that come in and land on the beach. Might be something cool. You don't get to see that very often. So I think that's going to be the plan. And then we've got the rest of the island to just tool around as well. So rain started now though, which is a bit of a pity. So it's really nice earlier. We got some drone shots done, and we nice little walk on the beach while it was nice. So it's pretty good. It certainly looks like we might have found the. I would say we found the end. So we just took a little bit of a detour back to see wreckage from a plane crash from 1944. It makes you think about what the people back there had to go through, so that we get to do things like come and explore islands today. It's sad. Still see all the rivets. Kind of like that they just left it here. A memorial to the guys who lost their lives. There's a little plaque as well, just on the stones. And go in memory of the men who died and survived when their Catalina plane crashed on Saturday, 12th of May 1944. And a list of the people who died in the crash. Kind of makes me think even more, because my son who's an air cadet at the minute, and that's his long term, his dream is his goal is to fly fast jets for the RAF. Yeah, makes you think. Well, we've unsuccessfully tried to find somewhere to book for a little bit of tea tonight, and everywhere so far is fully booked, so we thought we'd have a little tour around the island anyway and see if we can find anywhere maybe outside of the main Castle Bay town, and if we can we'll stop there. If not, we'll be grabbing something from the co-op and taking it back to the room, I think. We had a lovely morning weather-wise, but it's as you can see, it's turned again, unfortunately. It's let itself down. But we are going to head up to the top of the island where we haven't been yet and see what's going on there. A little bit of a loop around the top. There is a that's where the airport is, with the little planes that land on the beach. I think it's Logan Air that run that route. So thought it might be nice to go and have a little look and see what's going on there. See if we can see a plane land, which might be kind of cool. So that's the plan. Enjoy a bit of the scenery as well while we're on our way. Seen a couple of other guys on some bikes whilst we've been around. We had a brand new 2021 GS. There was also a brand new 2021 V-Strom, which was nice. It's become much more of an adventure bike than I remember it being. There's a guy on a fairly new Triumph Bonneville and a slightly older Triumph Sprint, which was nice as well. So a nice little selection of bikes. And they were bopping around together, and they were doing island hopping the same as us, but they're doing it the other way around. So starting down in Barrow and then heading up towards Stornoway and finishing up there. We did consider doing it that way, but we just couldn't get the ferries and the accommodation to match. And to be honest, seeing how small Barrow is and the fact that we can't even at the minute find somewhere on the main port to get anything to eat, I can see why we might have struggled a little bit to find some accommodation as well, to be honest. Options are fairly limited. Apparently there's a place called Jones Pizza that's fairly close to where we live, well, where our digs are. So there's also the potential to maybe check that out as well, but we'll see how we go. We might end up with just getting something from the co-op and taking it back to the room, and then maybe it's tomorrow night when we're on Mull, somewhere around Tobermory, and maybe we'll see if we can go out and grab something to eat in a pub there. There's a bit more space. So we're now riding up the east side of Barrow, up towards the top. And with it being a small island, you're never really very far from anywhere. Couple of sheep, stay there, sir. Awesome. Yeah, so it's not a massive ride to get to anywhere. I was hoping to try and get the drone up again, but the weather's just not letting off at the minute. And it just feels it's a little bit too wet and dank for it. I don't know whether it'll respond to the rain. Probably not very. So there's the main bit of Barrow that we haven't explored yet on the east and the west. Sorry, the east and the north, which is what we're doing now. And then from there, there's like a little spit that sticks out at the top, and that's where the airport is. So we'll wind our way up there, I think. Hopefully, I think the final plane of the day was due around 3:55, but we got a bit of a tip this morning from an Australian lady that it tends to come in, or when she watched it, it came in early anyway, so need to get there a little bit earlier than that to be able to guarantee that we'll see it. Just coming down here into a little bit of a causeway. Morgan sounds like. Quite a low speed technical section this. One of the bikers that we stopped for a chat with at the beach we were at a couple of hours ago, he was saying that they've just finished Mull, and he was saying there's the south of Mull there's quite an intricate section of like low speed, fairly technical hairpin switchback type roads. So that sounds fun. Something to explore tomorrow, depending on how many other bits and bobs we've got to do on Mull. See if we end up down that way. Got a decent amount of time on Mull, so it'd be nice to go and explore some stuff that's going on there. I think if you were so inclined, you could probably do a loop of this island in half an hour, probably, if the roads are on your side. Right, and then based on no knowledge whatsoever, oh yep, I'm thinking a right turn here, and it certainly looks like it is, up towards Barrett Airport. Brief moment there of dual lane road, and back to single again. First little random empty house there that we've seen on this island. Be the perfect place to stop and have a bit of an explore if it wasn't for the weather. It's really pretty. And that looks to me in the distance like that might be an airport. There's certainly a windsock flapping about over there, which I would imagine is the sign of an airport. What a crazy place for an airport. How very strange. I have to be honest, I'm not the world's biggest fan of flying. My wife really enjoys it and she's very relaxed. Me, not so much. I do not know how I would feel about a tiny little plane landing on a beach. I guess though, you might not have any alternative. That's our friends from this morning. And here is Barrett Airport. How bizarre and strange is that? An airport on a beach. Crazy. Looks to me like the tide's in. Wonder how it lands when there's when there's water there. I guess we'll find out. It's a plane due in about 40 minutes, I think. Right. I think we're probably going to naughtily park in the airport car park because it's got hard ground. So we've made it to Barrow Airport, and just in time, just behind, I don't know whether you can see it, you probably can't, there's a little plane banking and it's about to come round and land on the beach behind us. And I believe, from what the lady said, this is the only place in the world where it does it. And there it is at the terminal. Which had that pretty much spot on. That is apparently the only plane in the world, passenger plane, that lands on a beach. And it's in Barrow. And it's just put up at the terminal right behind us. And there's the tower, and there's a bus shelter further up, which is the baggage claim. What an awesome thing. Just leaving Barrow Airport. Hopefully you enjoyed the footage of the plane coming into land. Pretty cool thing to see. Especially bearing in mind that if what we were just told was true, that it's the only place around where you can see a commercial airline land on the sand. So very cool. Apparently it takes 13 people. Lady in the car park who was telling us, her and a friend were on it. It flies back to Glasgow, so it's to and from Glasgow up to 13 people. But for whatever reason, the maximum today was 12, and there was actually only seven people on it. So that must be quite a strange situation. Almost have the entire plane to yourself. Very strange. Cool though. Good thing to do. Not sure how much it is. I think it's a 14-minute flight apparently. So, yeah, not very far at all. Definitely looks like a good thing to do if you have the opportunity. So the plan is now, there's this last little bit of island road that we haven't explored yet, up to the very, very north. So we're going to give that a go. and just see what we can see around the top. There's a little school there. And then from there we've managed to secure some food later on tonight from what appears to be a very popular restaurant in Castle Bay Harbour. So whilst we couldn't get any space to sit in the restaurant, we did manage to find some space to book in for a takeaway. Wow, look at that view. So we've got fish and chips booked at 7:15, which should be awesome. Hopefully we'll old Civic in there. Hopefully the weather might be nice and we can just sit in the harbour somewhere and eat them, which would be lovely. If not, we'll take them back to the digs, I guess. A lovely pine smell along this bit. Oh, I think it's pine, it's definitely some sort of tree. Lovely smell, nice and fresh. Back onto a bit of twin carriageway road. Memory serves, it doesn't last very long though. And I think what we'll do is we'll head down this side because it was really pretty on the way up, and then we'll loop back down round into Castletown, and then from there we can have a think about what's next. Always better if I can find a gear. That's not the bike, that was me. Swapped to a different pair of shoes today, and I don't find it as easy to change gear in these, partly because they haven't got that extra bit of padded ridge across the top of your toes. So when when you're kicking up from first into second, and it requires that little bit of extra pressure, you don't have to feel it in your toes. It's a trade-off though, because my bike boots don't have the best grip on them, and when it's slippy and you're needing to paddle the bike around in little turn-ins or paddle it back out of a space, there's a lot more grip on these sort of walking boots than there is in the biker boots. So I guess that's one thing I could do with, is a set of proper biker boots with a bit of better grip on the bottom. Best of both worlds. Still learning all these things, being fairly new to their pastime. You start off with a list of things that you think you need, and then the more you do it, the more your experience grows, the more you think of other things that you need, or maybe your initial purchase of a jacket or a pair of trousers wasn't right, but sometimes you don't know until you try, and you can read all the reviews in the world, but until you actually take it out for a go yourself and you see what works for you and how you're going to ride your bike and where you're going to go, sometimes you just don't know what you need. I suppose having a variety and a selection of choices is no bad thing. There's nothing wrong with an outfit for all occasions, I suppose. I have to say that the Regatta waterproofs I ordered, certainly the waterproof bottoms, just cheap ones there off Amazon, they really worked last night. The jeans underneath were bone dry, so that's good. It's really pretty along this bit. I think there's something been dropping oil. I can see little rainbow coloured oil patches, so just need to be careful and make sure we stay away from them. Avoid the grease. Another little causeway. Don't know about anybody else that's got an NT, but I do find that give it an incline, and if you're in too high gear, too low revs, you just get quite thrumpy, quite rough. I'm assuming that's just a characteristic of the bike. Again, feel free to impart some knowledge on me if you know. Just
think it's on about 32,000 miles this bike, so it's fairly low mileage for an NT. And quietens up and smooths down when you get to higher revs, but yeah, she can definitely be a little thumpy low down when she's trying. It's a really pretty island, is Barrow. Really pretty. Like all the mountains all around today have got mist around them. Look at that in front. Wow. It probably doesn't show its true size on the GoPro the way the lens works, but that's pretty spectacular, that in front. That really is. It's quite hilly, Barrow, as well. And with it, the little roads, you can't really get into any sort of flow, so you find yourself up and down through the gears quite a lot. Something with a lot of low down torque would probably be your best bet for an island like this. Not sure you'd want a high revvy bike with a lot of low down torque, see if you're having to keep going up and down through the gears. Good brakes as well, essential, as we found a couple of times. You know, with car drivers coming flying through passing points straight at you, you have to find yourself getting out of the way pretty quickly. Level with the clouds now, look at that. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. We think that's one of these is the highest mountains on the island. And it's got a name, which escapes me. Apparently you can climb up it. The views are supposed to be incredible. You're supposed to be able to see right over the island. Stay there, sheepy. One sheared, one not. Locals. Oh, swimming pool. Nice. And then back down and round this corner. We should find ourselves back in Castle Bay. And there it is. That's a full loop of the western side of Barrow.
Okay, so we're pretty much done for the night on Barrow. We've just been to a little cafe and they didn't have any internal seating, but they did have a takeaway thing. So there's the bike, and that's our dinner table for tonight. And that's our view. Not a bad way to end our night on Barrow. We'll catch you on the morning, early start. Need to be at the ferry terminal by 6:10. So, see you in the morning.